Los Angeles, it's the first global society. What's amazing is, in our lifetimes, in this next generation, it can either work or be a catastrophe. And the only thing that can make a breakthrough is culture, because that's the only way you can move across the boundary lines of language and race and economic ghettoization.
Major funding for dancing was provided by Lila Wallace Reader's Digest Fund, bringing dancers and audiences together in communities nationwide. The National Endowment for the Arts. Additional funding has been provided by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by annual financial support from viewers like you. The Ford Foundation, the Rockefeller Foundation, and the following.
Our focus for this final hour of our series is L.A. Los Angeles. Not just L.A. the city, but L.A. the state of mind. A symbol of our restless times, an arena where peoples and cultures meet and mingle and clash and look for ways to live together. The setting is an arts festival of peoples from all around the Pacific. Invited to share something of themselves with their neighbors, the gift that many chose to bring was dance. Why dance? Because dancing is a way of speaking without words, a language that goes to the heart of how we live. Today we'll see dance as living poetry, dance as living history, dance that honors and renews tradition. The dancers have many different stories to tell, but if they have one message in common, it's this. To live in the present, you don't have to give up the past.
You look at Los Angeles, it's the first global society. 85 languages are spoken in Hollywood High School. You have the largest Filipino population outside the Philippines, the largest Cambodian population outside of Cambodia, the largest Japanese population outside of Japan, Korean population outside of Korea, Mexican population outside of Mexico. Everyone's here. What's amazing is, in our lifetimes, in this next generation, it can either work or be a catastrophe. And the only thing that can make a breakthrough is culture, because that's the only way you can move across the boundary lines of language and race and economic ghettoization.
Here at the Los Angeles Festival, cultural diversity, so often at the root of social conflict, is a cause for celebration. People from around the United States and the Pacific were invited to share their different traditions. Most brought dance, because for most, dance is at the heart of culture.
Ladies and gentlemen, and friends from around the Pacific, we're very moved that you've come this morning across great distances. Thank you so much for being here. Now that we're all here, I think we know what the feeling is. It's a feeling of our identity as peoples of the Pacific and our sense that for us, culture is absolutely at the center of our lives, our history, our future, and the way we hold our communities together.
The issues of dance, balance, clarity of purpose, precision, ability to survive in a complex, interactive environment, in harmony with other individuals. Those are the central issues of government. Those are the central philosophical issues of human coexistence. And they're epitomized in dance. And so it's logical that most societies have chosen dance as the ultimate cohesive unit that draws the society together.
À Wallis, il y a ce qu'on appelle des cérémonies.
In Wallis,
C'est presque tous
there
les
are what we
mois.
call ceremonies almost
Des
every month.
cérémonies religieuses,
Religious
des
ceremonies,
cérémonies
ceremonies that are part of our tradition.
dans la coutume. Et la danse traditionnelle
And
occupe
traditional
une grande
dance
place
plays a large role in our life because
parce
it's a
que
way of expressing joy and happiness.
c'est une façon d'exprimer la joie, la gaieté, et c'est une autre façon
And it's
de
also
se
a way of
retrouver
getting together
avec,
with other people.
d'autres gens.
The world is changing dramatically. There are very few places in the world that we do not know about. There's no more frontiers anymore. And so now that we have kind of covered the big geography, the question is, can we get deeper? So the arts and the dance become one way to penetrate that. How do we know each other? The dance is one way to know each other. In many societies, the meetings of one group and another was often done with dance. That's your identifier, that's your marker, that's who you are. Dancing with other people are the way cultures can bond with each other. It doesn't mean that you surrender your identity to somebody else's. No, it means that you experience the time and the energy and the details of the human body's expression of another people is in some ways the most intimate way you can be close to somebody else. So to use the festival as a way to get the city of Los Angeles to know each other was part of what we were trying to do.
As Los Angelinos travel the freeways, They drive across land that was once the territory of the Gabrielino and the Chumash Indians. Like many indigenous peoples, Native Americans struggled to maintain a connection to their culture and their past. Dance, once the target of great cultural misunderstanding, has emerged at the center of today's powwow.
What we see take place at the powwow begins with socialization. Secondly, it serves as a primary function for teaching our young people by demonstrating and letting them observe and hear and take part in the various songs and dances from multicultural or multi-tribal groups, as well as hearing music from their own particular tribal groups.
Here we go. Beautiful sight. Grand entry at its best. San Pedro, California. We have Joe Standing Elk, Sioux Indian, our head northern man dancer, followed by our women dancers. Beautiful sight, beautiful sight. And last but not least, our little ones. Look at them go.
The primary process is to maintain our culture, to maintain our ties, to share with our children that, we're here, we're viable. And we believe that by doing this, that our heritage and our culture will be maintained. And that's very, very crucial for us.
Dance is the heart of Native culture. Dance serves purpose. It's integrated into the life, into the ceremony, to the well-being of a person and a community. The Apache Mountain Spirit Dance is part of an ancient sacred ceremony conducted to celebrate rites of passage and to heal illness. Mountain spirits, representing forces of nature, enter the community through the dancers.
The Apache Indian people have quite generously agreed to allow the mountain spirit or the crown dance to be seen outside of Apache land. What they have done is they have taken something sacred and reduced it to actions that can be shared and enjoyed by all people. It's been done as a gift.
The transformative purpose of the dance is unbelievable. You're seeing masked representations of something mysterious. You don't understand what necessarily. I mean, these people are not the lightning, are not the raindrops, but they are in spirit. Their whole purpose is to become intermediaries between the Creator and Earth and to teach the importance of realizing that we're cosmic beings. The form of the dance reflects a circular worldview of many Native peoples.
The drum is circular. The dances are done in a circle. All of this encompassing that everything is within the circle or the universe itself is connected.
Within Native cultures, where all people are created from the same common nature, then there are no others. Others, when they appear, are just a furtherance of the same reality that we are part of. And so there is great celebration upon finding a new person, because it proves the complexity and the perfection of nature that we are part of to be even greater than what we had realized. So it's a time of celebration and a time of joy. For the European, the presence of the other immediately was a threat.
The Europeans perceived Indian dance ceremonials as pagan rites and feared them as war dances. In April 1904, the Indian Department of the United States government outlawed all religious dancing for Native Americans. Dance was permitted only at fairs, Wild West shows, and to celebrate white man's holidays. The law stayed in effect for 30 years. When the ban was lifted, powwows, once small sacred gatherings, evolved into large intertribal events. Powwows flourished like they did because they became the way for people to keep the dancing alive. As long as you're able to see a powwow, you're able to see a culture that has suffered for 500 years to remain strong and to survive in an oppressive society that wants to obliterate it for all purposes other than entertainment. The traditional hula and its chants praise the Hawaiian deities, ancestors, fertility, and the land. This hula celebrates Pele, goddess of the volcano. When missionaries came to Hawaii, they saw the hula as immoral, and it was banned. But the dance was secretly kept alive by a few families of kumahulas, or master teachers.
I was born in this, in this time, so I'm a person of this time. I'm used to having the people around me that are here. And so that includes Japanese, Chinese, Haoles, and Haoles are whites. And so I'm used to having them around. What I'm not used to, and I will never probably get used to, is when some of these people come over, bring their culture with them, and insist that their culture is the right one. Because you're not only telling me that, you're telling my ancestors that this deity that they believed in, this deity that created new lands for them for hundreds of years, belongs in hell and is the devil and is sinful. We never had words like that in Hawaii.
The sacredness of nature and respect for Pele shaped the dance. The bent knee position draws the dancers close to the earth. The hand gestures make visible the metaphors of the chants.
From the time the Christianity was introduced into Hawaii and the old religion was overthrown, the hula has been the avenue by which the culture has remained and has been carried on for many years. All other traditions seem to become dysfunctional, such as canoe making, tapa beating, bird catching. All of those traditions has become dysfunctional. The hula has been the only one that has still continued to function. And it continues to function because we rewrite or we recompose or we continue composing songs about things that are happening today. In the Hawaiian thinking, you cannot dance with rhythms. You have to dance with words. Because the dance is just an interpretation of the word. If we stop creating songs, then that particular time period which we did not create for dies. And we hear about it through narratives, but we don't hear about it through poets.
The Australian Aborigines believe that in the beginning, or dream time, ancestral beings sang the world into existence.
We are the Woomera Aboriginal Corporation in Townsville. Woomera is a spear throwing stick, so as it launches the spear, we're launching Aboriginal culture into the wider world community. Yamare Miringa, it's our welcome dance. It's you welcoming us here to this park, to our performance, and us welcoming you and sharing with you this afternoon. Daryl Williams, the Siak as well. Thelma Burke, Gambinia. Free for all, shake a leg.
For Aborigines, movement carries their history, their dreaming, their moments of awake, and their future. Prophecy, philosophical inquiry, and PSAs, genuine public service announcements to the community, are handled through dance.
Well, all of our songs and dance, they have stories. This is how our story legends are kept, which you call history. The stories were handed down from the dream time, from creation time. Well, a person, a man or woman, you see, they dream it in the night. They might dream the song, come to them in a dream. Well, we might go out hunting, and go out walk about in the bush. People might go to these special places, like we call sacred places or story places, So they go hunting around there, the spirits from that, bush spirits from there, those ancestors, they come to them in the night then and give them this song. They can get it through a dream. They can see the old-time people, dancing in their dream and singing.
Okay, you want American, Swiss cheddar, or Velveeta?
Barbecue bacon burger.
Okay. And how would you like that cooked, hon?
Right through.
All right. Do you know what you want to eat, sweetheart? You want meatloaf? Okay. It's a meatloaf fest here today. Here's the well-done barbecue bacon burger.
Got another meatloaf. Who gets it?
Yeah, mate. Missionaries who came to Mornington Island early in this century tried to convert the Aborigines and make them assimilate into the modern world.
See, when mission came to Mornington Island, with all the people and putting them in dormitories.
1920.
And they're trying to, break the culture up, Aboriginal way of life, and make everybody Christian, to live like white people. Try to educate them and make them forget about the culture.
And the missionaries, they never allow any kids in the dormitory to talk their own language. Oh, yeah. They talk their own language in school, they get punished,
Our parents used to run away and go back out to the bush and live with our great-grandparents. They didn't like white man way. They wanted to go back and live with their father and mother out in the bush. But the police, they had to go out in the bush and bring them kids back into the mission again, make them go to the school. They used to force them to go to school.
That's where the white men cut us out from our own traditional way. Even ceremonies they took away from us, Oh, yeah. Ceremony is the main part of our culture,
All that culture now, dances, songs. If we lose all that, well, we're nothing. We'll be like lost men.
Not all cultural encounters have resulted in conflict. For the people of the Indonesian island of Bali, song and dance traditions have continuously evolved, openly incorporating influences from other cultures.
The Hindu culture is still very strong in Bali, and this culture is very open and adaptive. So since the beginning of the Balinese culture, actually, we got influence from India, from China, from Hindu Java. We always open to that kind of culture. Before Hindu came to Indonesia, and particularly to Bali around the 4th century, Bali already had their indigenous culture. One of the famous pre-Hindu dance in Bali is known as the Sangyang. This dance performed by two girls, put into trance by inhaling smoke of incense. This is a trance mediums, where the people in Bali can still communicate with their ancestor through mediums.
Legend has it that a Balinese prince dreamt he saw celestial maidens performing the sacred trance dance. When he awoke, the prince called for the head of the village and asked him to create a new form, combining the ancient trance dance with the Hindu story. This new dance was called the Legong.
culture is a response to what you're surrounded by. And so it will continue to be in motion.
In fact, the tradition in most societies is an ongoing situation, which changes every single day.
In the 1920s, a young Balinese dancer created a male solo inspired by the Legang. The kebyar, which means lightning, quickly invigorated the older dance forms of the island. The spirit of the ancient trance ritual lives on in this modern Balinese dance.
And that ability to connect with one's ancestors, to connect with the history of one's world, is one of the most profound gifts that culture can give.
The Mexican-American students of East LA's Plaza de la Raza invited the children of Bali to their cultural center.
Bring your right hand up. Okay? Left hand front of your body. Okay, in this case, open your eyes. Open eyes, yes. Open eyes as big as you can. Bring your eyebrow up. And smile. Okay? Let's do flicking eyes movement to the right like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's glance the eyes around. Glance the eyes around like this. Glance, glance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You all look Balinese. Let's do. Cha 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 cha. Okay. Only few people doing that's singing. Here. Cha 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 cha. Beautiful. This group. Cha 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 cha. Okay. This group. Cha 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 cha.
The Ketchak, or monkey chant, was once part of a healing ceremony. In the 1930s, a European artist living in Bali noticed that with the advent of modern medicine, the monkey chant was no longer being done. He encouraged the villagers to preserve the sacred ritual as public performance. It has since been recreated in villages throughout Bali and seen in theaters around the world.
There's certain times in history when we see the coming together of people of diverse backgrounds, and that meeting has sometimes created wonderful flashpoints. Not that one is dominating the other, or one is appropriating or taking over the other, but it's like a joining of voices.
In the mid-1980s, choreographer Yuri Killian attended a festival of Aboriginal dance in Australia.
It was such an overwhelming experience that it'll take me a long, long time, probably the rest of my life, to really be able to realize what I've actually seen. They have a phenomenal way of jumping. They are able to jump without a preparation. That means that for us, in order to get off the ground, one goes into the ground first to get the strength and then go up. They jump, they are already in the ground. And it's like a spring that releases. They are suddenly in the air and you don't know how it happened. The use of counter movement is another very important thing of their dance. And that is something that I'm trying to do in my choreography as well. It gives length to the movement. If you're reaching one way and you use the other part of the body reaching the other way, the movement is prolonged and has much more driving quality. In creating this dance, Stamping Ground, I wanted to make sure that I was working from the point of view of inspiration and not from the point of view of imitation, which in any case would be regarded as theft by the Aboriginals. If I would want to make a stage presentation of something that has to do with this culture, I am not allowed to use their vocabulary. I have to, from my own understanding, I have to create my own vocabulary. Okay, hold it. Yeah, good, Jim. When you do this one, can you try to make more noise? Yeah. Try to get the palms together so that it goes like that. Yeah. And after you've done that, try to go down like lightning, like the soil opens from underneath you.
woman dance like that. Peter there, Sheila.
Now you stay here.
There you go.
Now you know how to hunt for fish in shallow water.
Just sort of generally as people writing about dance, there's a lot of like just to understand what's happening in Australia in the modern day, and that whole thing about people learning dance. You know, like the Netherlands Company, that's what they're trying to do. You know, they're trying to use the spirit of Aboriginal dance into modern dance, but they can't really carry the tradition of it. Because they don't really understand, you know. You never really. I mean, I've been with 14 years. I've been understanding, but I'm still understanding more about one simple little dance, and it takes a long time. And so people don't want to give away that dance for another person to carry because they can never really know what it's about. This song is a gift. You've just been given this gift of this song, and. You know, it enables you to relate to the nature and the country more. Right? The song, having a song about it. I mean, what do you sing songs about in Los Angeles? No? You know, what songs in Los Angeles that you sing enable you to live here, to identify with this place?
How to survive in South Central, a place where busting the gap is fundamental. No, you can't find the shit in a handbook. Take a close look at a rap crook. Rule number one, get yourself a gun, a 9 in your ass will be fine. Keep it in your glove compartment, cause jackers, they love to start shit. Now if you're white, you can trust the police, but if you're black, they ain't nothing but beef. Watch out for the kill. Don't make a false move and keep your hands on the steering wheel. And don't get smart. All questions, and that's your first lesson on staying alive in South Central dead. That's how you survive.
Hi, this is Elena Kim. Are you enjoying your stay in South Central Los Angeles, or is somebody taking your things?
If you can exist in Los Angeles, I believe you can exist anywhere in the world because it is really a struggle here. The African marketplace is designed to counteract that. It literally is. We are trying to focus interculturally, you know, because there are a lot of groups who just do not relate to one another that are within the Pan-African family. There's only so much that we can relate to Africa having been born of this country. Consequently, who wants to ignore the fact that this is our country? We're African Americans, and at the same time, we're like the sum total of a wealth of experiences from Europeans, Asians, you know, Americans. Not ever having to lose that cultural, traditional you, that spiritual you. You won't lose that because it's inherent, it's ingrained as a Latino, as a Native American, as an Asian, as an African American, you have it. There's no loss. You won't lose it. When I showcase dance, I'm trying to provide some identity for those groups that have been displaced from Africa and groups that are here, the African Americans, and how what they're doing is part of cultural tradition. And they can identify with it and be very proud.
I think African dance is very important for young women because I think it teaches you a whole different thing about your body. It's supposed to move and it has expression and people are supposed to notice it, which in my modern and ballet classes it was like, no one should notice that you have breasts, no one should notice that you have a butt, right? But in African dance, the honor of all of that is, I think, real important for your self-esteem as a woman. To know that, yes, I have breasts and they're supposed to move and I can actually make attention drawn to them from that movement, and in the right context, that is a thing to celebrate. As a part of Urban Bushwomen, what we look for are the ways that we can take what is the African American experience and that experience which has specifically happened here and have it be connected to and in honor of and continuing with whatever we understand of the African experience.
There ain't no turning back. 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 There ain't no turning back.
What I need particularly from dancers are people who can call up from their life experience their knowledge and living African American culture. It is not just learning the dance forms, it is knowing the way of life, the culture that it comes out of.
There ain't no turning back. 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 There ain't no turning back.
It's important to be conscious that, in fact, you are making this connection to Africa because it happens. I mean, a lot of the young people who are doing dances today, they don't know that their dances look just like African dances. So it's not necessarily a conscious connection. So I think it's real important to be conscious of the connection so you can understand what might be moving through you in terms of spiritual forces, in terms of ancestral energy.
They ask me what I'm doing. Ingisabe ingoma kicking lyrics that are new. Power to the people, I mind that I wear to. You cannot forget about the ghetto, Soweto. Things ain't too good, sienza inzima. Running, get it done, gijima pangisa. Hambala jigela, chisa shashisa. Chia abantu, let them go, yes, sisa. Hey, my daughter, that means hey, man. Shosholoza, work it while you can. Asambeni im 70 means let's go to work. Uyasanya means you're a crazy jerk. Akim ulamanga, no, I'm not joking. I just produce rhymes that are pretty provoking. Ngoma umnandi, yes, the jam is hype. You know where to find me, Zimbabwe, right?
Western pop culture is a good example of how people from all over the world are trying on a movement style that's not their own. That doesn't arise out of their own cultural milieu, but, you know, they see it and imitate it. They're seeing it on television, MTV, a variety of ways. What does it mean when, you know, people living on a remote mountaintop who have access to television are seeing this dancing, hearing this music, and pretty soon you're finding rap and you're finding break dancing all over the world.
Back in 1988, all those talking politicians. Westside easy, Westside cheap. Much cheaper than our priceless land. But promises can disappear, just like writing in the sand. Treaty, yeah, treaty now. Treaty, yeah, treaty now.
there's a concept that's common to most Native people. It's the road of life. Sioux people call it the red road. But it's the road of life, it's the balance. It's understanding that on one side is darkness, on one side is light. One side is good, on one side is bad. But you walk the road in between. You don't veer to one side or the other, because that's leaving the realm of balance. So I mean, that's what becomes the most important thing to hold on to as a Native person, is to know that things are changing. We're not living 500 years ago, 200 years ago, where you lived strictly on the land, you fended for yourself, you created everything for yourself. Doesn't mean you disregard that respect for the land, but you live now in a place where we've got electricity, we've got all these other things that, yes, we're taking from the earth, we're doing all this. I mean, but you have to learn how to live in a balance with it. You can't just take it all for granted anymore. And that's the biggest struggle. You know, if you're gonna live in a city, it's like, okay, well, what does this mean? Do I become just like everybody else? No. And that's where it comes, is just you choose to live in this world of balance, but you don't have to give anything up. You have to just work harder to maintain who you are, though.
As people dance, they move with rhythms that are outside of them and yet at the same time are inside of them. And this meeting of the rhythm from the outside with the rhythm of the inside helps to bring a timelessness to the person. They become those who have always danced and who always will dance.
Major funding for dancing was provided by Lila Wallace Reader's Digest Fund, bringing dancers and audiences together in communities nationwide. The National Endowment for the Arts. Additional funding has been provided by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by annual financial support from viewers like you. the Ford Foundation, the Rockefeller Foundation, and the following.
This is PBS.